Hello, today I am going to be doing a wrap-up from the past few months of all the books I've read. We have 15 books here to talk about. Some of them are manga, some of them are novellas, pretty short books. I've been reading a lot of shorter books this year. So yeah, first up is The Dragon's Fate by Roxy Ray. This is the second book in the Blue Water Dragon series. It's a shifter romance. This one, can't remember the girl's name because it was kind of forgettable, but she basically escaped an abusive family and is trying to live on her own, and she runs into our bachelor, our romance man, and they kind of fall in love. Some drama happens with her ex-husband. It's great. She has a kid, which makes it odd because the dragon shifter, like, it's her mate, not the kid, but like, he's never had a mate that's already had a kid, and he kind of falls in love with both the mother and the daughter in like a sweet way. Next up is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Outlander was great. In Outlander, we follow Claire, who is a doctor from World War II, I believe, and basically she goes in Scotland to like this weird hedge thing, like Stonehenge or Hinge or whatever, and basically gets transported back in time to like the 1700s in Scotland. And while she's there, she finds Jamie, who is so hot, and they kind of fall in love and stuff. I'm pretty sure it's like a slow burn. It's really good though. And then like the bad guy in it looks just like her husband, apparently. And like even in the show, it's literally the same actor who plays as her husband from like the future. So it's kind of weird. Next up is Games We Play by Dana Islay. And this one was pitched to me as corpse husband fan fiction, so I was like, yeah, I gotta get into it. It was pretty good. I gave it 5 stars. I will say there was one thing that irked me in it, and there's a scene where he talks about how he says like sexual stuff on Twitch. No, well, it's not called Twitch, but on the streaming website he uses. I'm like, you would not be allowed to do that. You cannot do that. So like it kind of took me out of the experience. Next up is a manga by Koko Nasu Rumba, and it is the Animal Crossing manga. Don't read this. Just don't. It's not good. I gave it 2 stars. I like the art style, that's why I gave it that. But it tries to be like funny, and it's not. It's just cringe. The art is pretty cute though. I mean, it's probably better for a younger audience, which I'm pretty sure is what it's meant for. But you know, I'm a big fan of Animal Crossing. I have 800 hours in New Leaf. I don't have that many in New Horizon because it's overwhelming. Next up is another bad book, and that's The Last Bookshop in London. As you can see, I did annotate it. A lot of my annotations are like, yeah, let me find one. I know I just wrote, where's a good one? I know I wrote stuff like, this book sucks ass in it, so whoever gets this next better, you know. I don't know, I can't find one. I don't know. Anyways, it wasn't good. It happens during World War II, and it's about this little bookshop that this woman starts working at part-time, kind of. And she's only going to be working there for a few months because she just needs a letter of resignation or whatever. Is that what it's called? I don't know. Just so she can get a better job, but she kind of falls in love with the bookstore and brings life to it, like fixing and organizing it all, which was cute. There are some good quotes in here. I just did not enjoy it. The characters were very one-dimensional. There wasn't any flavor, if you will. There was like a romance kind of in it, but it sucked. It was like insta-love, which I'm fine with insta-love sometimes, but just in this, I was not. So yeah, that was The Last Bookshop in London. Next up is Frankenstein's Bride by Hilary Bailey. I gave this 3 stars. It is basically written like a biography of this one guy telling his life about how he befriended Victor, and there's this woman they're helping out who can't speak. She can only sing, but she doesn't speak through singing, if that makes sense. She like knows songs that she learned, and that's all. She cannot speak or form words, and they don't know why, but you find out why, and it's pretty gruesome. Next up is a very disturbing book, and that would be My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I gave this 4 stars. I was gonna give it 5 stars, but it just disturbed me so much that I couldn't give it 5 stars. I understand like the importance of this book, because yeah, I'm not going to talk about it a lot. If you do decide to read it, please look up the trigger warnings. They are very, very important for this book. So yeah, and then I went through my dragon phase, so I read a lot of dragon books last. So first up, we have Wings of Fire. We get a moment for Wings of Fire, please, please, hands clapping. Love Wings of Fire, one of my favorite series. It's a middle grade series about dragons. This is the 7th book, and it's very good. I have the 8th book right here. Haven't read it yet. This one we follow Winter, where he's on the search for his sister, because his sister is on like a murdering spree. Don't know how much of a spoiler that is. It is the 7th book. This is the 2nd arc. I think there's like 2 more books in this arc, and then you start the new arc, which I think the new arc just finished. The 3rd arc just finished. I gave this 5 stars. Don't know if I mentioned that. Flip open my little notebook. Next, I read Behind the Horror by Lee Miller. I gave this 4 stars. This is a non-fiction book talking about where the inspiration for horror movies came from. That was gross, I'm sorry. So yeah, it was very, very interesting. I sped through it. Very good. Next up is another manga, and that's Shugokara, Volume 9 by Peach Pit. Gave this 3 stars. It's a magical girl thing. Basically, this girl has these little sprites, and they give her the ability to character transform into like a different personality, I guess. And they like are fighting things, and they're trying to make sure the X eggs, which are like the evil eggs, don't like evolve or whatever. It's okay. Still don't know if I'm going to continue with this series, but yeah. Next up is another dragon book. That is Bound in Fire by Debbie McQueen. I gave this 4 stars. This is very good. This is a great series. The author I talked to for a little bit, and she is so, so sweet. Basically, it's about this boy named Egon, I don't know, who can transform into a dragon, and it's been this big secret for a long, long time. And he meets this prince named Raiden, and like fall in love, and he tells him his secret, and it's super, super sweet. One thing I love about this, besides it being an LGBT book, is that it is the word gay or bi or any label is never mentioned in this book. There's no coming out. There's nothing like that. It's just treated normally, which it is normal, but how our society is, it doesn't feel like that. So yeah, really, really enjoyed this. Next up is another dragon book. Well, it's a dragon manga, and that is Dragon Goes House Hunting by Tanuki. I gave this 5 stars. It's about a dragon that goes house hunting. He gets kicked out of his clan by his father, and he goes house hunting, and it's really silly and goofy. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. The elf in it, the elf boy, is hot. He is so fine. Next up is Escaping Peril, which is another Wings of Fire book, wherever I put it. Continuing the story, this time you're following Peril, which is a dragon who has too much fire in her, so anything she touches turns to fire. I gave this 4 stars because I did not enjoy it as much as the last one. I find Peril to be a really annoying character. She's just so angry, which like I understand why she is, because she was kind of in a abusive situation, but yeah. And then finally I ended this month with a awful book, and that was Deadlock Rebels by Lindsay Fly. I just did not enjoy this. It was not good. It's an Overwatch book. Didn't like it. Didn't like the romance between Ash and McCree. I just didn't like it at all. Don't read it. I think Sombra was supposed to be in it, but I'm not sure. The only two characters they really mentioned from Overwatch were Ash and McCree. So, hello. So yeah, that's all the books I've read in the past few months. And